Welcome to Frequencies, a satellite podcast brought to you by ST Engineering iDirect, where we take a closer look at shaping how the world connects. Recently, ST Engineering iDirect released Dialog 2.2.3 for general availability. In addition to achieving the industry's highest return rates in shared bandwidth networks, the latest Dialog release includes several features and enhancements that achieve even greater operational efficiency for large-scale maritime, cell backhaul, and trunking networks. We're joined today by ST Engineering iDirect's Head of Mobility, Andrew Fiola, and Product Manager for Dialog, Bart Bakeland. From each of their areas of expertise, they will discuss how Dialog 2.2.3 is shaping how the maritime market connects. Let's listen into their conversation.
Hi, Bart. Thanks for joining today. Looking forward to talking about the new developments of Dialog and our modems with you.
Hi, Andrew. Always nice to talk to you.
Great, thanks. So let's jump right in. The cruise industry has been battered this year, although I think we are starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Royal Caribbean recently had over 100,000 people sign up for volunteer cruises in order to get the cruise industry moving again. One of the trends that we saw before COVID hit was a really insatiable demand for connectivity, just growing and growing. A lot of that demand was actually coming from the vessel itself in terms of passenger created content and passenger experience network applications. So for me, one of the biggest of the new Dialog release is the MXDMA 6-symbol return capability.
Yes, Andrew. So release 2.2.3 is a very timely release. We introduce high rate returns on our flagship modem, the MDM5010. So it allows now symbol rates of up to 68 megasymbols, resulting in return throughputs of up to 200 megabits. This is realized with MXDMA HRC, our return technology, which allows having these return rates in shared capacity, where the waveform dynamically reassigns the available capacity to the vessels that need it. So this is a very important feature. Also, I wanted to emphasize that next to the MDM5010, we have a full maritime modem portfolio, from low rate modems to high rate modems, all supporting S2X in the forward and able to share capacity with MXDMA HRC in the return.
Great. So that means that vessels of all types and sizes can share the same shared network together, right?
Correct. They can share capacity in the forward and in the return.
That's great. So obviously on the largest cruise ships, there's upwards of 6,000 passengers on some of these, 3,000 crew, and of course, countless devices and sensors, everything from measuring friction across the hull to point of sale applications. So it's great to have the overall throughput available, but how do you ensure that that traffic is actually getting through, and that someone who's trying to download a Netflix movie and stream that, and someone who's just wanting to do an Instagram of the socially distanced buffet can do that without having issues and problems, and really getting a nice quality of experience?
Well, good question, Andrew. So as you know, the maritime market is a key market for the Dialog platform, and a lot of effort has been done to ensure the success of our customers on Dialog. Okay? And so one aspect of that, as you say, is modem performance. So the MDM5010 has record return rates. We've elaborated on that one. But next to the return rates, it also supports record packets per second and accelerated TCP sessions. So it supports 250,000 PPSs. It supports up to 70,000 accelerated TCP sessions for an optimum user experience. Another aspect to that is quality of service. So in a previous release, we greatly enhanced the quality of service capabilities in the platform. So we increased the number of queues, more configurability in the timeouts of the different queues, and we expanded the QoS tree, allowing more flexible service definitions for wide service offerings on the vessels, even the most complex vessels.
So from a passenger perspective, what does all that mean?
It means high return rates with high SLAs.
All right, so a really good experience with your phone, or making sure that payments are going through without big delays or anything like that.
Correct. Also, for example, video uploads, these kinds of things that are becoming more and more relevant for passengers on board of these vessels. This will all be enabled.
Excellent. So we've talked about cruise, but some of the features that you've mentioned also have really strong enterprise applications, not just for the OT systems on cruise ships, but here I'm really thinking about the offshore industry, where they're using more and more applications that really require real-time connectivity. You know, things like CCTV, augmented reality for support on board or on a rig, and even piloting remotely operated vehicles. Can you talk a little bit about some of the features that are really enabling those types of capabilities?
Yeah, it's a good point, Andrew. So we have the tendency to equate the maritime market to passenger connectivity or crew connectivity, but it's much wider than that. For example, offshore rigs, their surveillance is a very important application. So real-time contribution of video over satellite to the head end allows to take crew off the rig instead of having much more crew on the rig. Another use case or another application, for example, is research vessels, where, for example, high resolution pictures or video is shot and needs to be sent over satellite as a file transfer. So these type of applications are also enabled by supporting very high return rates with low jitter over the satellite link.
No, that's excellent. I think we're seeing more and more of those types of applications out in the market, and just as you said, trying to increase safety by decrewing a little bit here and there, being able to have people onshore taking care of some of these systems in very harsh environments. This is really helpful when we're able to provide a quality of service that enables that to take place, and certainly these features make that possible. But with great power also comes great responsibility, and we have the capability to deliver all this throughput now. It doesn't mean so much if it's not arriving reliably. So I know we've implemented a lot of new features in Dialog 2.2.3 that greatly improve link resiliency. Can you tell me a little bit about some of those highlights?
Well, indeed, Andrew. So we consider the maritime environment as a very complex environment where dynamic signal degradations can cause a degraded user experience. So, for example, you have interference, you can have phase noise, you can have distortion. So a lot of different types of degradations that manifest themselves in a time-varying way. And one measure we took to safeguard the user experience is to enhance the modem ACM algorithm. So in a VSAT modem, the ACM algorithm is the algorithm that adapts the modulation to the signal, to the received signal noise ratio, the SNO. However, some of these dynamic degradations are not necessarily reflected in the SNO, so they do not degrade the signal noise ratio, but they can cause dropped packets. So we have changed or adapted the ACM algorithm to make it more aware of frame drops, baseband frame drops, so that it will not choose an overtly optimistic modcode in case there are degradations like phase noise or distortion or interference. So that is a very important aspect to that. Also, it will be possible from the head end to temporarily put a vessel on a lower, more resilient modulation. For example, when a vessel is encountering disadvantaged link conditions, it will be possible to put a modem temporarily on a lower modulation. If there is an RF problem on the vessel that causes a link degradation or reception degradation, it will be possible to put it on a more resilient modcode until the vessel is looked after and the problem has been resolved. So these kinds of features will allow maritime network operators to ensure optimum performance and efficiency of their vessels.
And so for those types of examples, those are really helping, again, in a shared environment where you might have multiple remotes in a beam or SatNet or whatever. You're really able to sort of focus in on a single remote that might be having some kind of tricky issues or whatever, improve the robustness for that remote while not impacting the performance of other remotes in the network. Have I got that right?
Indeed, that is indeed a very important point. So it's indeed per vessel that the optimum efficiency given the, let's say, the environmental conditions is guaranteed, irrespective of the choices of another vessel. So basically this allows the entire terminal population to run at the optimum efficiency allowed by the environment it operates in.
No, that's great. So we're improving efficiency, we're improving performance, we're improving resilience, all in combination between Dialog 2.2.3, our MDM 5010 modem, as well as the rest of the modem portfolio. This is a great development. I'm very excited for it. So thanks a lot for helping to explain it even more.
Okay, you're welcome, Andrew. Bye.
If you enjoyed this conversation about Dialog 2.2.3, you may also wish to listen to our head of cellular backhaul and trunking, Samir Hassanali, also speaking with product manager for Dialog, Bart Bakerland. The new tech Dialog platform from ST Engineering iDirect delivers efficiency, flexibility, and scalability that continues to break through technological barriers. Thank you for listening to this Frequencies podcast. You can find other episodes on a range of topics wherever you listen to podcasts. Please join us again for more conversations with ST Engineering iDirect.